Hello, this is Evan Rogerson, and I'm Motor Gang here, and today we are going to be talking about the Ethiopia situation. So this is in relation to an event, the African Open Robotics Competition Problem Solvers event that took place in late January, and it's a very interesting event with a lot of strange oddities. So we're going to go ahead, break this down. Some people think that all the teams in Ethiopia are cheating. Some of them think that the referees or event partner just don't know what they're doing and they input everything wrong. Or maybe Ethiopia is just the single most competitive region in Vex Robotics to date. Now, some background information on this event that kind of explains why some people are kind of fired up about this. This is a Worlds qualifying event with Ethiopia having 4 spots to the Vex World Championship, and this is their only event, so I assume all of these spots will go to this. I know some other Vexu people have reported this event already. I'm not planning to do that because, I mean, it's already being reported. RECF is probably already looking at it, so I'm just going to make a video about it because it's funny. So first thing I'll point out, this is a skills only event. So let's go ahead and get right into these skill scores here. So after we're going ahead and looking at these skill scores, we can see all teams ran all their skills runs. You can see 3 attempts in each category from all teams, and these are VexU skill scores. So slightly different than VRC scores, but basically you can fairly easily get an extra 15 points if you have a double park mechanism. Now, the first thing that I want to point out is these skill scores are very high. At the time that these were posted, I believe all of these were in the top 30 in the world for the VexU skills leaderboard. They're also very consistent. Like, as you can see, these are like 85 to 58. That's a fairly consistent range, and 107 to 88. You don't see competitions usually with this level of difference between the best team and the worst team. Usually these scores are a lot further apart. Like even the worst team you can see here, 146 is still a very respectable score that would be winning skills championship at a lot of competitions. And as we go and put this in the global skills leaderboard, you can see a lot of these Ethiopia teams. Now I think the last one, at least when I screenshotted this, was 37th in the world, which is still a very respectable standing from a skills point of view. Last thing, I do want to remind you guys, these skill scores, especially the programming ones, show that these teams should be very competent at playing the game. So just keep that in mind for later. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the matches. Now, you might remember earlier on in this video, I said this was a skills-only event, and that is correct. However, there are matches at this skills-only event. These do not show up on robot events, but if you go to like VexVia or RoboScout, or even just the team's page specifically, it will show that they played a number of matches, which is quite strange. So you can see that they ran qualification matches, 16 matches, then they played from quarterfinals all the way through finals. I will point out that finals was only best of 1, which as per the qualifying criteria, since this is Ethiopia's championship, this is a world's qualifying event, and finals should have been best of 3. That is one of the few things that are objectively wrong with how this event was run. Additionally, you can also see here we have our qualification rankings over on the side here. Now, something I want to point out here is if you look at these match scores, you'll notice blue wins the first match, blue wins the second match, blue wins the third match. Blue wins every single match at this event, which is quite strange and not very probable. There's like the percentage there of blue winning every single match. It's a very, very small percentage, just assuming equal odds. Now, there could have been something like maybe the red side of the field just like sucked or whatever, not a good cable connection. Although red is still putting up very respectable scores, such as 104, 114. These are very high scores, which we'll cover a little bit more later. So, I mean, maybe something was just wrong and the blue side of the field was better. Although you also have to account for the fact that the red seed is the higher ranked seed going into elims. You can see here we have like Coder 2, which is our 1 seed, and Roa 8, which is our 8 seed. You would expect the 1 seed to beat the 8 seed. However, the blue team advances. And this is the case with every single elim match. So we end up with the 6 seed winning the tournament there. So this is, I mean, it could happen, but I would say that that is very unlikely to occur, as you can see based on those probabilities right there. The next thing that I want to point out is the number of autonomous points handed out. So in every single match, 10 autonomous points are handed out most of the time. There's very few circumstances where they aren't. And they're played 16 qualification matches, so that means that there should be 160 autonomous points handed out. However, if you tally up the number of autonomous points from each team, you do only get 120 autonomous points, which can happen. That's totally fine. Some of the scenarios in which no autonomous points are handed out during a match are if the team that wins autonomous gets themselves DQ'd. However, we know that that didn't happen because that would show up as a 0 in the team's match list. The other alternative is both teams cross the autonomous line. That would also result in 0 autonomous points getting handed out. I want to call back to something I said earlier in the video in which these teams all have very high programming skill scores. It seems quite strange for this would require 4 matches, both teams cross the line during auto. That seems unlikely to happen from teams that are putting up such high programming skill scores. So I would expect teams that are putting up in like the 50s, 70s, 80s even, that are putting up that high of a programming skills, to be able to not cross the line during autonomous. The other strange thing here is no autonomous win points were given out. Again, I would have expected those teams to be getting autonomous win points. Jayhawk has gotten multiple autonomous win points this year, and these teams have higher programming skill scores. Same thing with a lot of other teams. So I would have expected there to be some autonomous win points, especially considering if a team crosses the line during autonomous and the other team doesn't cross, there's a very high chance that they would hit the other team's robot and also give them autonomous win point by default. So it seems very strange here, the number of autonomous crossings and lack of autonomous win points, given, I mean, those two in and of themselves kind of conflict with each other. And then also given how high these programming skill scores are, you would expect these teams to be better at match autonomous routines. Finally, just another couple quirks that I kind of want to point out is you'll notice there's not really a stratification in the matches here. Most of these teams just had 2 wins and 2 losses, with only one team managing to get 3 wins and 1 loss, and vice versa. Again, usually you would see a couple of teams that are getting lots of wins, and then your teams that aren't getting a lot of wins. And then you can also see this statistically by things like the OPR, DPR, and CCWM are almost the same for all the teams. You have a small amount of deviation down there, but for the rest of them, they're all basically sitting around 0, which is, again, quite strange. Same thing with highest match score. Every single team managed to put up a score of at least 114, which is extremely high scoring for a match. And then you also have 3 teams have the exact same highest score of 114, which is, again, a little strange. Now moving on to the actual content of these match scores. These are all extremely high scores for matches. The one that I want to call it in particular is qualification match number 8, right there, 91 to 151. If we go ahead and we look at the scoring calculator here, let's try and plug this in. So 91 to 151, extremely high scoring match. Let's put 15 blocks in both long goals, 7 blocks in both top center goals, both robots double park, and an autonomous is handed out. You'll notice we are still 6 points short, or 2 blocks worth, of actually achieving this actual match score during a match. So that means, first of all, how many of you guys have seen a match with all 4 goals full? In addition to that, we have to use the Ethiopia tech of putting more than 7 blocks in a center goal or more than 15 blocks in a long goal twice in a singular match. And I think you maybe could accomplish this. However, both robots have to be parked at the end of the match too. And aside from the fact that this is basically impossible to do, no teams have been able to do this as far as I'm aware this season with actual robots. It's also just like not a smart way to play the game. Who's going around filling up all these goals? The meta has very much shifted to descoring your opponents is very good, and in most cases better than just putting a couple of your own blocks in. It's very strange that these are just filling up the goals. And that kind of checks with all of these match scores are very high. That's the only one that requires you to be stuffing more than the expected number of blocks into a goal. But like we have scores like 104 to 119. If you put up 104, find me any other tournament where teams are putting up 104 points and losing the match. These are just like some crazy high scores going on right here. Then also strangely, every single award was handed out here. There's only 8 teams at the event, but you're giving out tournament quarterfinalists is a little strange considering every single team gets a bye to quarterfinals. Some other things that I want to point out with the awards are the judging team did make another objectively incorrect decision here. The Inspire Award and the Amaze Award both went to the same team, Roja won. This is not allowed as both of these are judged awards, and as per the guide to judging, each team can only win 1 judged award per event. So this shows that the judging team was not following the guide to judging properly, which in and of itself should also call the event into question. One other thing that I want to point out is that the team that won the Excellence Award was ranked 6th out of 8 in qualifications. Now, this can be waived, the 40% qualification requirement, by the region's RSM. However, that needs to be approved by the RSM. And I think it would be strange for an RSM to waive the qualification requirement for excellence at a skills-only event and not have the event be listed as an actual like tournament instead of just a skills-only event. So that does seem kind of strange there. Another small strange thing that I kind of want to mention, this is something a lot of the other Vexu people pointed out, so I'm not 100% certain on this, but they said that they couldn't really find anything about this event. Like you go to the event conference center where this supposedly happened, and like there's nothing on like their I don't even know what this is, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. There's nothing on their page about like the event even happening in the first place. So that kind of wraps it up for the Ethiopia situation. I found this was pretty interesting and I figured I'd make a video on it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.